welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And today we want to talk about the matchups between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns, meeting tomorrow um, in Pittsburgh at 1 o'clock. Um, Very interesting game. Like I say, this is a game that the Pittsburgh Steelers should win. I'm not going to say that it should be easy, because the Browns are actually, I mean, not when you look at their record, you would think this is an easy game, but the Browns, it's not. I just think this is not going to be a good game, easy game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think one of the reasons I feel that way because I think the Browns are very strong on defense, where the Pittsburgh is really not that strong at on the offensive line, and I think the Browns have a chance to kind of make this game a little muddy. They can make this game a little muddy, and I also think they can maybe get after Rodgers a little bit. So this is going to be just a very interesting game, but I think in the end, I think the Steelers should be able to pull it out just for the fact of it's kind of the opposite. The Steelers' strength is going to really be their defense against the Browns' weakness which is their offense. So I really don't think the Browns can put up a lot of points against the Steelers' defense. And I think the Steelers' offense can put up some points against the Browns' defense, but it's going to be a struggle, I think. So I'm looking at a very kind of semi-close game, maybe scoreboard-wise, but I think the Steelers can really kind of put it to the Browns a little bit physically. Hopefully, we'll see. But like I say, the Browns' defense is really, is they're good. I mean, just keep it what it is. They're good, and like I say, I think they're strong where the Steelers are weak. So it's going to be very interesting. So with that, we can get right to we can get right to it as far as the matchups and kind of see what's going on here. So let's do this here. Dun, dun, dun. I think one thing that I'm kind of real interested in seeing is the Browns made a trade. Um, they made a trade this week with their starting corner, and I think Campbell, the guy that they traded for from Jacksonville, I think they're going to actually put him in the starting lineup um, this week. So we'll see how that just as far as the communication, that's probably going to be the biggest thing that if anything could go wrong, that's where it could possibly go wrong. But again, we'll see, and let's get into these matchups. So Steelers are 3-1, Browns are 1-4. This is a very important. Well, it's a very important game for both teams, but just from the Steelers standpoint, this will give you your first division win, put you at 4-1, and really, hopefully build a good pad between you and the Browns and the Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. So very important game here. So let's get right into it. So we're going to talk about the quarterbacks. I mean, this is probably the biggest mismatch just for the fact of, I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers. Um, you know, hopefully this bye week kind of did him some good and got them old bones, you know, back to moving again, blood flowing in them. Um, so like I say, the one thing good about Rodgers is it's no type of defense that you can really put out there that's gonna fool him. And for the most part, the Browns, excuse me, the Browns play a kind of a basic defense. Their thing is they bring them. They those defensive tackles. They're coming. They'll stop the run on their way to the quarterback. So they're going to put a lot of pressure on him. So hopefully this offensive line can hold up. And on the flip side, the Browns, they're starting their young quarterback. This will be his second start. Um, you know, I think the Steelers probably can do some things defensively that maybe confuse him a little bit. The only thing which is kind of working out for the Browns is he's really not pushing the ball downfield because their receivers are really not doing much to help him in that, in that situation. So, I don't know how confused we can really get him, but I see the Steelers probably putting a lot of pressure on him. And one of the good things is he's so little that the Browns kind of like moving the pocket and rolling him out a lot. So I think on some of those plays he might roll right into T.J. Watt or Alex Highsmith or Herbert. So we'll see. So obviously the quarterback position, I'm giving that to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's really a mismatch there. The running backs, I'm gonna lean towards the Steelers just for the fact they really got a two-headed monster. With Warren being back, and the Browns, they, as good as their defensive line is, you can run on them because I truly believe their defensive line, they're trying to we'll tackle the running back on our way to the quarterback. So sometimes that leaves them big holes, some big creases that a good shifty running back can take advantage of. So you can run the ball on them, even though their run defense is ranked pretty high. But I think part of that is just, um, people are really not trying to run the ball on them a lot. And, so far they've been kind of successful throwing the ball on them a little. So that's one of the things I'll see. But that that defensive line is going to be an issue. And on the Browns part, Kushan Jenkins, he's second round pick. I mean, he's doing this thing. And this is a guy that he's shown that he can make some big plays. He had a good game last week against Minnesota. And I think he even had like a 50-yard run that got called back for a penalty. So, we know the Steelers have kind of struggled with the run a little bit. So I'm quite sure this is something that the Browns going to definitely try to do. They're going to try to establish the run. But I'm going to go with the Steelers just for the fact that we got the two-headed monster. So 2 against 1. So we're going to give the Steelers. Wide receivers. I think really, to be honest, this is both teams' weakness. Even though we got DK Metcalf, which is huge, and that's why I'm really going to give the Steelers the check here, just for the fact that it's DK and he's like head and above everybody else playing wide receiver for the Steelers and for the Browns. The Browns' top guy, Jerry Jeudy, but for some reason he haven't really found his way. And he got the dropsies a little bit right now. So with that said, I'm gonna give that to the Steelers. But it's gonna be very interesting to see what Pittsburgh is gonna do with their number 2 receiver, just for the fact I don't think Calvin Austin is going to play. And I will admit this. I mean, I think from a grown man perspective, DK is going to be a hard matchup for Denzel Ward, but I will give Ward this. Ward's going to be right in his pocket. Ward's going to be right on his hip. Now, I think DK can out muscle him and out physical him for some balls, but I think it ain't like he's going to be wide open. I think Denzel Ward can definitely hang with him. So that's going to be a interesting matchup there. So let's go to the tight ends. The tight ends. Um, Actually, I could have went either way with this. I'm gonna give the Steelers the benefit of the doubt, but the Browns, I mean, that's really their passing game right now with with their tight ends because their receivers are really not doing much. But I'm gonna give a check to the Steelers just for the fact of I think it's 3-1. That's for one thing, but I don't know. I think Firemouth is in the doghouse or something. Something is going on there, but this probably really should have been even because the Steelers. I just don't know how much Darnell Washington is really going to be in the passing game this week because I think he has to stay in and block. I think he has to stay in and help Jones with Myles Garrett. So I don't know how much Washington is going to really be in the passing game. Maybe Firemouth gets his head out of his you know what and can make some plays and help this offense a little bit. So I see Smith actually maybe having a big game. I see Smith actually having a big game this time. So I'm gonna get a check to the Browns. Then offensive line, as much as we want to bash the Steelers offensive line, and I'm part of that because I think right now they have not played well. They have at least I have to be fair. The last couple of games they have played better and they have gotten better of what they're trying to do. But this is going to be their biggest test, I believe, because like I say, the Browns defensive tackles are those guys are going to be coming. They're going to put a lot of pressure on the Steelers offensive line. But on the flip side, the Browns offensive line has been terrible. And I really see the Steelers being able to get at Gabriel a lot in this game. I see a lot of batted balls, happening. I'm looking for the Steelers to at least have four sacks in this game. So with that said, I'm gonna give the offensive line play to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when you really look at it, Steelers just have a better offense than the Browns right now. Even though, like I said, the tight end position, you could almost say that's about even. But offensively, the Steelers should definitely be in a better place than what the Browns are going to be against the Steelers defense. So let's move over to the defense. So here, the defense, the defensive ends, edge. Well, for the Browns, it's Myles Garrett. Now, he's the type guy. He can put up numbers where it can look like two guys, and it could just be him. Because the last time, one of the games last year, he had 4 sacks. So he's gonna be a challenge. Like I say, I think Darnell Washington is probably gonna have to stay in a lot and help Jones block Myles Garrett. One of the things that I do like what the Browns do with Garrett is they move him around. So he ain't just gonna be over Jones. He's gonna switch over to the other side. He's gonna be in the middle of the defense. He's gonna be everywhere. So our offensive line is going to definitely have to play with their heads up and their eyes on number 95 at all times to find out where he's at and where he's coming from, because he has probably one of the best first steps in the National Football League. And if you don't get that right step right away, he's past you, gone, knocking your quarterback out. So from the Steelers standpoint, I mean, you got Highsmith, you got him coming back. You're gonna have Herbert, and then obviously you got T.J. Watt, and like I said, the Browns' offensive line has been struggling um, worse than the Cleveland Browns' offensive line. So with that said, I'm giving that advantage to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Defensive tackles again. The Steelers are finally starting to get their defensive tackles going. Hayward is finally, really getting himself in shape and getting things together. Harmon is back. He's playing good. So the Steelers defensive line is actually pretty good. But I think right now the Cleveland Browns with Mikael Collins has 3.5 sacks. You got oh man, I forgot the kid's name. The Mason Graham. I think he got a half a sack. So when I looked at it, the Browns have over 13 sacks coming from their defensive line, and that's a lot. So that's letting you know that these guys get to the quarterback, and the type of defense that they play, they it's just a attacking defense. Those guys are getting up the field, and like I said, I think that's one of the reasons why they kind of get gashed a little bit in the running game, because it seemed like the running game is they're really not trying to stop that. Like they're stopping it on the way to the quarterback, but they're going after your quarterback. But with that said, I'm gonna get that advantage to the Browns. I think right now their defense is playing very well, and it's really coming from their defensive tackles. Linebackers, simple. If you're a team and Devin Bush is one of your starting linebackers, that's all I need to say. Um, Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson starting to play a little better now. But as you can see, they're playing better because the defensive line is playing better. And if Benton can keep improving off the game he had against Minnesota and keep taking up blocks and getting penetration, that's going to free up Wilson and Queen to use their speed and their ability to cover out the backfield, because they will have to do that with the Browns tight ends. But it's a thing where if your defensive line is playing good, your linebackers are going to play good, because both of the Steelers linebackers are really not big guys, so they can't. When the defensive line is not holding up and they're getting offensive guards and tackles coming down on them, they're not big guys and they can't get off of that, and they get swallowed up. And then next thing you know, they're having a terrible game. But when those guys are able to run free and use their speed, they're pretty good. So I think I'm gonna give that advantage to the Steelers. And like I say, any team that's starting Devin Bush, hey, you need to get what you reap there. Cornerbacks. This honestly could really go both ways. I'm just gonna say right now, Denzel Ward is better than any corner the Steelers have right now that they could put out there, especially with Ramsey out the game. This will be Porter's first game back, so he's gonna be a little rusty and see what he can do. You got Slay. So the Browns made a trade. They traded Newsome for Campbell from Jacksonville, which I think honestly the Browns probably made out on that trade, because I didn't really think Newsome was really that good. So, they got two solid corners, and receiver-wise, other than Metcalf, the Steelers are really not going to challenge the number 2 guy. I mean, whatever receiver that we put out there on the other side, Campbell should be able to handle them. So I'm gonna give a check to the Browns on that one. Then safeties. We're gonna go with the Steelers on that, just for the fact Thornhill, um, Elliott, especially Elliott. I mean, he was huge when he. I mean, you've seen the impact that he made in his first game back, and I think he's going to continue that. He's probably going to spy on Gabriel a little bit. The Browns, well, they got Delpic is actually a pretty good safety. So, to be honest, about they could almost be even, but I'm gonna give that to the Steelers just for the fact I think Elliott is gonna tip the scales for me. So as you can see, I'm giving the Steelers 3 out of 2 on that. And like I said, but the Browns have a very good defense, very good. So this is gonna be where this game is won and lost at to me. So we're gonna go to the special teams, and here, I mean, you got the Boz. I mean, do I have to say any more? Um, the Browns, they got a rookie kicker. I actually forgot the kid's name, but I mean, the Boz is the Boz. The only thing I do like these last 2 games, the Steelers kick return team has done better, because the beginning of the year that they were terrible because teams were starting at 40 plus, getting good returns. It seemed like they didn't tighten that up a little bit. So with that said, and the Browns special teams is terrible. I wish we really had a good a good returner that we could probably take advantage of that, but I don't really think the Steelers had that. But like I say, the Boz is the Boz, and I'm definitely taking the Boz over some rookie. So I'm gonna give the check to the Steelers. And coaching, I mean, these guys, they then went head to head, and the Browns got some wins over the Browns. I mean, they got a playoff win over the Steelers. But I'm gonna take Mike Tomlin here. I'm gonna take the Steelers staff over the Browns staff, and that's pretty much all I can say about that. I just think these type games right here, Tomlin really look forward to these divisional games. Even though the Browns got them, they got them, last year, and that was still no excuse for it. It was in the blizzard, and I hate Thursday games, and I want to say that was a Thursday night game, and I always hate road whenever your team is the road team on Thursday nights. Um, I hate that the NFL even had those games because I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm quite sure the home team is probably winning 65% of those games, because it's just hard, that short week, then traveling and all that. So with that said, I'm going with the Steelers as far as the coaching. And that, let's go to our prediction. And again, like I said, I think this game is going to be a little closer than what we think it's going to be. I mean, this is the game you would think, the Steelers 3-1, the Browns 1-4, easy win. I don't really see it that way. So I see the Steelers winning this 24-13, and I actually see that being probably a little closer than that, as far as maybe the Steelers get a strip sack or something like that. And defense, I'm going to predict the Steelers are going to get a defensive score. So with that, you talking 17-13. So so like I say, I think this is going to be a close game. I think this game is going to be close, and like I said, maybe the defense gets a score to kind of break it open. I just think the Browns' defensive line is going to give the Steelers' offensive line fits. Hopefully, we can run the ball on them. And if we can run the ball on them, then, that might change it a little bit. But it's gonna be a close game. But it's a game that I think at the end the Pittsburgh Steelers should win, and we should move to 4-1 and really almost start taking a strangle on this division, because I think Baltimore is going to take another L against the Rams, and that'll put them at what, 1-5. So um I think the Steelers just gotta do what they do. Hopefully they don't stub their toe, and this is the game they shouldn't. But with that said, that is it. So hope you like and subscribe, and we will talk to you guys. Actually, we'll be doing the 2-minute warning podcast, and we'll see. What the Steelers are hopefully, taking a couple of knees and getting this thing done and over with, and have a home victory, because right now, they lost their home opener against Seattle, so we got to really get this game down. So with that said, you guys take care. I'm quite sure most of you guys watching college football, and go ahead and enjoy watching your football. And until then, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.